Hey folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Tuesday, the 9th of April 2024, and this video is going to be my 52nd world first biblical deciphering. And in today's video, I'm going to decipher for you in the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, verses 1 all the way to 13. Okay, now we're going to be going verse by verse, and I do have notes here for all the verses that I worked on. And so we're going to be going through all my notes on my deciphering. Now, one of the problems that I want to raise about the prophet Isaiah is that Isaiah can be very poetic, okay, in context with his prophesying. Okay, so when we study the prophecies in the book of Isaiah, we got to look at the broader picture, okay, because Isaiah is very poetic, and his poetic style is actually very important to decipher it because it is in context with prophecy. And so, prophecy is very important. We need to be very accurate, or actually accurate with prophecy. And so we need to decipher his poetic style. What is he trying to say with his poetic style in context with his prophesying? Now, because of Isaiah is poetic, like I said, then this brings the issue of interpretation. Many Bible scholars might have their own, their own thoughts, their own opinions, their own versions of interpreting Isaiah. Okay. Now, so therefore, I'm going to give you my version of these verses here in chapter 27, according to how I think what is Isaiah saying in here. That's why I actually wrote down all the verses, if you like, and I'm going to be going from my notes. Okay, but you're going to be learning quite a bit here because there's a lot of impending and infront millennial kingdom prophecies, and of course, all of us are going to be coming back with Jesus for the millennial kingdom reign, and so we need to know what is going on in terms of prophecy. Okay, all right, folks, let us start then with verse 1. Okay, and as you can see there on the screen, in that day the Lord with his sword and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Okay, now a few things here. When we decipher about prophecies, then we've got to look at the wording. He's saying here that the Lord Jesus, when he comes back for the millennial kingdom, at the beginning, if you like, he's going to punish Leviathan, the serpent, which we all know it's Satan. Okay, now punishment is a different word to actually killing the devil. That's going to happen at the end of the millennial kingdom. But first of all, it's going to send him to the abyss. Okay, and so what I've written here regarding Satan or the dragon, if you like, or even Leviathan, is actually married to Revelation 20, verses 1 and 3. Now, I must point out that this Leviathan here, there is actually a constellation in the sky, the constellation of Cetus. It's spelled Cetus. Cetus is actually a sea monster. It's actually Leviathan, okay? And if you watch the YouTube channel called Shalom 132, the pastor there is actually quite good in reading stars and things like that, according to Genesis. I'm not very good at this at all. I just know the very basics from having watched some of his videos. But if you speak Spanish, head over to Shalom 132. Roughly about 6 weeks ago, thereabouts, he did a video on the constellation of Cetus, which is about Leviathan, or the dragon, if you like. Okay. So verse 1 is actually married, in my view, to Revelation 20, verses 1 and 3, when Jesus comes back at the beginning of the millennial kingdom, because the context here is for the beginning, not so much for the end, okay? But it's actually at the beginning of Jesus coming. And so if you head over to Revelation 20, okay, I got patch markers here, as you can see on the top there, so we'll do it quick, but just bear with me, folks, because if you like, eschatology like I do, then you're going to enjoy this, okay? So if you go to Revelation and you go to chapter 20 here, verses 1 to 3, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. Verse 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. Okay, so verse 11 then in Isaiah chapter 27 is actually married to Revelation 20, verses 1 and 3, if you like. As soon as Jesus comes back for the millennial kingdom, he's going to bound him up. He's going to punish him. He's going to eliminate him by putting him into the lake of fire and brimstone, if you like, right at the end of the millennial kingdom, just prior to God's great white throne of judgment. Okay, so that's covered. So now we go back to Isaiah and we go back to verse 2. Stay with me, folks. It's going to be an enjoyable, like I said, if you like eschatology. Verse by verse, let's just take it easy. Let's not rush it. Let me just get the cell phone to focus again. It seems to have focus issues when, I put a pen in front or something like that. But anyway, here we go. Now, this is where it gets poetic, folks, and we need to decipher this. In that day, sing you unto her a vineyard of red wine. Okay, so basically, once Jesus has put the devil, if you like, into the abyss, he's saying here, in that day, sing unto her a vineyard of red wine. Now, this is where it gets poetic and people have their own views according to their own interpretation. So this is what my view is then regarding verse 2. In that day, sing, meaning it's like saying rejoice, okay? And, I put here, decipher the poem in context of this, okay, in context of the prophecy. A vineyard could refer a vineyard of red wine, if you like. Then this could indicate, in my view, a type of Jesus' blood, as in saying, I overcome the devil with my own blood sacrifice at the cross, thus conquering death, hell, and the grave. And those that believe, on me or on Jesus, if you like, blood atonement, shall not perish but have everlasting life. If you see John 6:5-6, so let's go to John real quick. So this is my interpretation of it, folks. Other Bible scholars will have other views on this, but this is my view on it. So if you head over to John chapter 6, okay, and we go over to verse 56. Here we go. It says here, he that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. So think of Jesus' blood as his own vineyard. If you like, let's go back to Isaiah quickly so we can build the context here. In my view, then, the vineyard of red wine is referring to Jesus' blood. Basically, what he's saying, that, hey, I'm punishing the dragon and putting him to the abyss, and rejoice, if you like, because my blood, okay, has conquered the dragon. That's what I'm trying to say here. In other words, Jesus' blood atonement. Those people that believe on Jesus will have everlasting life, but those that don't, well, they made their choices. So this is what I'm trying to say here, folks. Now, on verse 3 then, I, the Lord, keep it. So he's referencing again, his blood sacrifice, if you like. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt. So basically what he's saying is that I will water it every moment means that, hey, my blood sacrifice is staying, okay, it's not going anywhere. Lest any hurt, it means that, well, does it don't believe then? Well, you made your choice, you will perish. And Jesus is saying here, I will keep it night and day. So basically what he's saying, hey, my blood atonement is here to stay, It's not going anywhere. I have overcome the devil. He has conquered death, hell, and the grave. And, those that don't want any part of it, well, we all know the ending, if you like, okay? Now, let's not forget then that, according to John 3:16, for God sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So I got my notes here on verse 3. Yeah, just to recap, I, the Lord, will keep it, and I will water it every morning, saying, my blood atonement on my vineyard is now everlasting. Lest any hurt it, the unbelievers can reject me, but that's, if that's the choice I make, we all know where they're going to be going, and that's not heaven. I will keep it night and day. I'm the only way, the truth, and the life. Think of John 3:16 if you like. And like I just said, for God has sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So I think it's all about the blood atonement there. Let me just turn the page around here. So it's basically all about the blood atonement in my view. On verse 3, on verses 2 and 3, if you like, okay? Now verse 4 is pretty straightforward. It's saying fury is not in me. We know that God is love, okay? Who will set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I will go through them. I will burn them together. So, anybody who wants to plan something against God, God is gonna, pretty much ruin any plans that anybody has if anybody wants to go against him. So this is pretty straightforward. So what I put for verse 4, okay? Fury is not in me. God is love. Nobody can defeat God. Nobody can set up a trap for God. He will defeat anyone and anything. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Then on verse 5, or let him take hold of my strength, that he might make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. So that's basically what he's saying, is that, let people believe on me, in other words, on Jesus, that they might have peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. In other words, if you believe on Jesus, okay, if you believe on the gospel of Jesus, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 to 4, then you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit, and then you will have peace with God, with Jesus, okay? If you are prepared to believe in Jesus' gospel, then you will have peace with Jesus, okay? So that's pretty straightforward as well, okay? In context of what he's trying to say here, So, Jesus is prepared to make peace with everyone, but you just gotta make peace with Jesus by believing on his gospel. Now, verse 6 then, he, meaning Jesus, shall cause them that come of Jacob, meaning Israel, to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. Now, some people could fall into the mistake of thinking that this refers to the church age prophecy of Israel becoming a nation in 1948, but it's actually a millennial kingdom prophecy, because Jesus, okay, he will be there in Israel, in Jacob. So what he's saying here is that Jesus, when he's there in Israel, the millennial kingdom, okay, he shall cause Israel, if you like, that camp of Jacob, Israel, if you like, to take root. In other words, Israel shall blossom under Jesus' rule, if you like, and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit. Okay, now fruit is very important here, and so let me show you the notes that I have here for verse 6. He, Jesus, shall cause them that come of Jacob, meaning Israel, to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. Jesus is king of Israel, if you like, during the millennial kingdom, okay, in Israel. And Israel is going to be the spiritual worship center of the world, okay? So this is what I mean by fruit, okay? Because Jesus is there as the King of Israel during the millennial kingdom, okay? It is Israel that is going to be the fruit of the world, because Israel is going to be the spiritual worship center of the world, if you like, okay? So that's pretty straightforward, okay? Now verse 7, you got to be very careful with verse 7 now, because it'll be easy to get confused. It's kind of like posing a question here. Had he smitten him? In other words, has Jesus smitten Israel? As he, meaning Jesus, smote those that smote Israel, okay? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? So for verse 7, basically, it's just pretty much posing a question. So basically, what he's saying is, has Jesus smitten Israel? As Jesus smote those that smote Israel? Okay, so we know that God has always punished, the Babylonians and the Assyrians for smiting Israel, if you like. And then the second question is saying, is Israel slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by Jesus? So it's posing a question here, but basically what he's saying in verse 7 is saying, hey, look, I, Jesus, has smoten Israel, if you like, and so has Israel's enemy smoten Israel. But, Israel is back under my rule, So that's what it's posing a question, but at the same time, it's also answering the question, if you like. It's saying, hey, I have smitten Israel for falling into idolatry. That's why the first temple went down. They were sent to Assyria, and then Judah went into Babylon. But hey, this empire smote my people, but they are back anyway. It matters not that Jesus and Israel's enemies smote Israel. They are back under Jesus' rule, if you like. So it's posing a question, but it's actually answering the question as well. So then on verse 8, in measure, when it shooteth forth, thou wilt divide it. His tithe, his wrath wind, in the die of the east wind. Okay, now, so basically what he's saying here is that Israel, if you like, in retrospect, we look at, at the rough times that they had, okay, or that they went through, if you like, and how Jesus needed to correct them. Now, the east wind, where it says here, this always refers to Jesus, the east wind. There are, many prophecies and many types that refer to this east wind, okay, that is actually Jesus. Now, what I got for verse 8 then on my notes is Israel in retrospect will look back at the rough times that they went through, like I just said, for falling into idolatry, think of when the first temple went down, that, Israel went through rough times. The 10 northern tribes of Israel went into Assyria, and Judah went into Babylon, okay? And God had to punish them in order to correct them, okay? Now, where it says east wind in the Bible refers to Jesus as a type, okay? And there are many types of this east wind in the Bible referring to Jesus. For example, if you look at Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 2, this gate shall be shut, because the Lord God of Israel has entered by it. Also think of Jesus, I'll show you this in a moment. Also think of Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, according to John 12:12. Coming from the east, of course, from the Mount of Olives into the old city of Jerusalem, And also think of Hosea chapter 13, verse 15. The east wind shall come, meaning Jesus. Okay, so let us look at these prophecies regarding the east wind, which is a type of Jesus. Let's look at Ezekiel 44, verse 2. But before we do that, let's just go here. His death, his wrath, wind in the day of the east wind. Okay, so we know that Jesus gave the Jewish people a rough time, but hey, he's coming, in the day of the east wind. So the east wind represents Jesus. So let us go first to Ezekiel 44, verse 2, and I got page markers here. So Ezekiel 44, verse 2, okay. Then said the Lord unto me, this gate shall be shut, it shall not be opened, and no man shall enter in by it, because the Lord, the God of Israel, hath entered in by it, therefore it shall be shut. It is for the prince he shall sit in it to eat bread before the Lord. He shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate, and shall go out by the same way of the gate, if you like. So and of course here we got the east here, okay. Then he brought me back the way of the gate of the outward sanctuary, which looked towards the east, as it was shut. So basically, the east, okay, if you like, it represents Jesus, if you like, okay, or the east wind represents Jesus. And by the way, this is a prophecy for the millennial kingdom. How the golden gate, I believe it's called the golden gate, which has those two doors that are closed, and then you got the cemetery here, the Muslim cemetery, okay, facing the Mount of Olives here. Well, Jesus is going to enter through these gates in the millennial kingdom, okay. So this is actually a prophecy that's impending for the millennial kingdom. It is for the prince, for Jesus. The prince, he shall sit in it to eat bread before the Lord. He shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate, and shall go out by the way of the sun. So this is a millennial kingdom prophecy as well that I'm deciphering here on Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 3, if you like. Then if we, of course, look at John chapter 12, verse 12, I will put all these notes, folks, on my commentary. So yeah, just check the commentary. Let me just get to John 12:12. So I believe it's at the back here. So if you head over to the book of John, chapter 12, verse 12, on the next day, much people that were come to the feast, when they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, they took branches of palm trees and went forth to meet him, and cried, Hosanna, blessed is the King of Israel that cometh in the name of the Lord. And of course, we know Jesus triumphed entry into Jerusalem, with a donkey, if you like. So he was coming from the Mount of Olives, from the east. And to finish up then with Hosea chapter 13, verse 15. So quickly, let's go to Hosea. I got a patch marker, folks. Bear with me for 1 second. Here we go. Hosea chapter 13, verse 15, which is down. Give me 1 sec. Here we go. Let me just catch up here. Here we go. Yeah. So sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure that I read this well. So Hosea chapter 13, verse 15. Though he be fruitful among his brethren, an east wind shall come. Okay, the east wind is Jesus. the wind of the Lord. See how the east wind is tied to Jesus, the wind of the Lord. So the east wind is actually tied to Jesus, is the wind of the Lord, shall come up from the wilderness. Okay, so let us go back quickly to Isaiah then 27, and let me just give you a quick recap, because I went through quite a lot of prophecies there, because the next verses are actually quite straightforward. So to recap then, on verse 8 here, the east wind, I just told you that represents Jesus. Okay, think of Ezekiel 44, verses 1 to 3 if you like, but verse 2 tells us what's happening. Think of Jesus triumphant entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, John chapter 12 verse 12. Of course, Jesus coming in from the east, from the Mount of Olives into the old city of Jerusalem. And Hosea chapter 13 verse 15, the east wind shall come in Jesus. I just show you there how it clearly says that the east wind represents Jesus. So then let me turn the page over, and then we got verse 9. Okay, so by this therefore shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged, and this is all the fruit to take away his sin, when he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalkstones that are beaten in sunder. The groves and images shall not stand up. So this is the last of the millennial kingdom prophecies, and where it says, by therefore shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged. Well, this is only going to occur with Jesus, second coming during the millennial kingdom. And this prophecy is actually married to Romans 11:26. In the all of Israel shall be saved. Jesus is Israel's fruit, if you like, who will take away their sins. Okay, so this is what I got from my notes here, where it says, by this fall shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged. This is going to occur with the coming of Jesus into the millennial kingdom. Okay, and this prophecy is married to Romans 11:26. He's going to purge all their sins. Okay, meaning that all those Jewish people that made it through into the millennial kingdom, it's actually going to be 1/3, according to Zechariah, that will go through into the millennium. Their sins will be forgiven or purged, if you like, and so all of Israel will be saved, according to Romans 11:26. We'll go there in a moment. Jesus is actually Israel's fruit, who will take away their sins. Okay, so let us go to Romans 11:26 quickly. I've got a page marker here, folks. Bear with me. Okay, so here we go. Romans 11:26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, they shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. So basically, this is a millennial kingdom prophecy in which all the Jewish people that make it through the tribulation period will be saved. Okay, they are all going to be saved, and Jesus will deliver them. He's going to purge away all their sins, if you like. So let us go back then to Isaiah 27. So that pretty much ends these millennial kingdom prophecies. Just to recap, verses 1 all the way to 9 are all millennial kingdom prophecies. Now, then verses 10 to 13, these prophecies are for the low age period, and they have already been fulfilled. When Israel, both the northern kingdom and Judah, they went into captivity for falling into idolatry and went under God's punishment. Okay, so let us read then verse 10. Yet the defense city, meaning defense city, is referring to Israel. To Jerusalem. The defense city shall be desolate. Okay, so We know when the first temple was burned down, okay, and the habitation forsaken and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down and consume the branches thereof. Verse 11, when the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set fire on them, for it is a people of no understanding. So basically for verse 10 and 11, put them together in my description. What I'm saying is that these verses from 10 to 13, if you like, go back to the law, to the period of God's punishment. When Israel, the northern tribe, if you like, that was made up of the 10 tribes, if you like, plus Judah, they went into captivity and they lost the first temple, okay, and Jerusalem was burned to the ground. Where it says a people of no understanding, in verse 11, if you like, it is because, they were breaking God's law and falling into the beliefs of false God. Think of Isaiah chapter 10, verse 11, in which it sums up actually verses 10 and 11. So let us go to Isaiah 10 and 11. 10 and 11. So, head over to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 11. Shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? So what it says here, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria, meaning the northern kingdom, and her idols, okay? So to Jerusalem, meaning Judah, the tribe of Judah, they were basically doing the same thing. That's why, they lost their first temple and they went into captivity and so on. So you folks know that pretty well. And I think that this Isaiah chapter 10, verse 11 sums it all up. Both the northern kingdom and Judah got into captivity, and there was nothing left once Jerusalem was burned to the ground, including with the first temple. So that's what practically verses 10 and 11 are about, if you like. That Jerusalem is a defense city. It's desolate. The first temple went down. Okay. Now verses 12 and 13. Basically, what it says here, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river. Now, many Bible historians, where it says here, the Lord shall beat up all from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and shall be gathered one by one, all you children of Israel. It's actually referring to the Euphrates River, okay? So basically what I got from my notes here is that on verse 12, if you like, the Lord is going to shake the land between the Euphrates River to the border of Egypt, okay? The people of Israel who were dragged away into Syria, captivity, and Egypt, will return to worship the Lord in Jerusalem, especially when the second temple was rebuilt, okay? So just to recap then, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river, meaning from the Euphrates River, unto the border of Egypt, if you like, or unto the stream of Egypt, and they shall be gathered one by one, all children of Israel. So, of course, these are the Jewish people coming back from captivity, if you like, okay, to reconstruct the second temple. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mountain of holy mountain of Jerusalem. So basically, the Jewish people that were in captivity in Assyria and Egypt, they are coming back, for the rebuilding of the second temple, and they will worship the Lord once again in the holy mountain at Jerusalem, if you like. So that is it, folks. Sorry it's being a 34-minute video, but I had to go through a lot of notes. And like I said earlier, Isaiah is very poetic, and it's open to the interpretation of Bible scholars, according to their own views, if you like. But I just want to say that we have to be very careful, because we need to decipher the poetic style of Isaiah in context with his prophesying, because we need to be accurate when deciphering prophecies. So this is my view then, and I will be writing all these notes in the comment section of the video. Alright folks, thanks for watching. I hope this has been a blessing to you, and I'll talk to you all later.